Wow. It's been a while. I
Yeah,
didn't
you
mean to
kind of
put
cut
out the
me off, but
rhyme, but
yeah,
you know
like
how I
wow,
do.
wow, wow, wow. It's been a while.
Welcome to
You
another
know
episode
what
of
I
Has
the
been
mean?
a
Stack Show
while.
with
We should have said we were coming back, but I think
Blue.
we
Good.
didn't
What's up,
know if
guys?
we were gonna.
It's been a
It's
while.
every week. It's
Life
been a
happens.
while. Yeah,
Life happens.
Thank you for
All right, let's get to it.
introducing y'all. We've been posting about. We're always taking hiatus in this show for life reasons, having personal stuff. So we're back.
Yeah.
And we ready to get into the thick of things. We're really for sure on the road to WrestleMania. So
Right.
yeah, let's get into it.
As much as I don't follow WWE, I do acknowledge the road to WrestleMania.
Don't understand why you don't follow WWE, especially now. I was on the same page with you a couple of years ago and stuff. It was trash, but again, they've been doing their thing.
I mean,
They've
it's
been
a
doing
lot of
their thing.
eternal stuff. It's
Outside of yeah, but sometimes it's not for us as fans to worry about internal stuff. It's just let's worry about the product and what's being promoted and pushed out. And what's being pushed out, it has been, entertaining. It's not really like this shit is trash. It's good. It's good for TV.
all right. We'll figure it out. Let's start off with this Elimination Chamber. Um,
Yes. Did you watch
did you?
Elimination Chamber?
I was waking up till 5 o'clock in the morning to
But
watch
if this
something I
was
don't
new, if
watch
this
when
was
it
new,
comes at
but
9 p.m.
if this was New Japan,
You
see,
damn right. I would have.
this is what my thing with Blue. Blue, he shits on everything WWE related, but the minute they do something similar to another product, then it's like, oh no, I'm not doing that. New Japan, time to time, he will watch New Japan
Because that's
at
their regular
early.
time.
So what is that? What does that have to do with anything? Just because it's a regular time, if something
Listen,
is that around that time, watch it.
listen.
What?
When WWE got their pay-per-views going on a Sunday, and now they want to steal Saturdays and put it on at 8 p.m.
Thank God it's on Saturdays. I'm
I
tired of
said still Saturdays. So I tune in. I you can't say I don't. I tune in. I watch the pay-per-views.
Alrighty.
I force my family to watch the pay-per-views with me.
Okay.
But I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the WWE premiere live event, and I'm glad I didn't.
You glad you didn't?
Yes, because they did one of the things that I hate the most about them, and that's give you a long show with minimal wrestling.
Yeah, but this man will sit here and watch a 7-hour AEW pay-per-view
because it's wrestling. I came to watch wrestling in ring product. That's what I want to watch. I don't care about TV shows and commercials and ads. And can you imagine 3 hours of just talking on a wrestling show?
It would hold on, no. See, this is why if you watch it, you would know it wasn't just talking. It was not just talking. I happened to get up. We wound up getting up around that time. I didn't plan to get up. I was going to watch it later on in the day, but I just happened to wake up. Coley's up already around that time because he typically works around that time. So we wound up watching it. But see, you talking from a non-experience because you would have seen that show was not full of talking. It was not full of talking in the slightest bit. Yes, there was a segment, but wasn't the full show.
So why was the show 5 hours and it was only 2 hours of wrestling?
The show started at, if I remember correctly, at 5. If I remember correctly, and it ended around 8 something. If I remember correctly, 1, 2.
I have the run times.
How you gonna tell me now? I was watching
because I have the run times. It's in front of me right here.
So I was watching it. You realize there was prior to that there was the pre-show, right?
That's still talking. Including the kickoff. Listen. The show ran for 4 hours and 30 minutes, including the kickoff.
Okay, but as first of all, when's the last time WWE or anyone has been in Australia? So they gave them a full experience, kind of like a Mania experience.
So you're telling me? Tell me. So you're telling me
they don't deserve a full experience?
Listen to me. So you're telling me if you paid mad money to see something you've never seen in a while, right? And you sat there for 5 hours and only got 2 hours of wrestling, you would be okay?
But it wasn't 2 hours of wrestling. You realize again, there was the kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
One, two, the women's elimination chamber match,
Kicked it off.
it kicked it off, and it was essentially an hour. I realized like, yo, this is going on mad long, and then looked like shit. This was like 50 minutes. So you had that though, and then what else they had? The um they had the tag team match. That was another match. Then they had the segment with Grayson Waller,
That was 22
Austin
minutes long.
Theory. Okay, but hey, Grayson Waller's from Australia. One, two. So they had to hype all. They had to big all of that up. Then the men's elimination chamber happened, and then the main event between Nia Jackson and
Rhea.
Rhea Ripley. So it did what it needed to do.
Again, there was a total of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 13 seconds of actual wrestling.
I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it, and
But
I'm
but
pretty
that's
sure.
okay. I'm not saying you're wrong for enjoying it. I'm just saying that's why I don't do it, because to me
But
that's
you
wild.
okay? Is it or is you're getting entertainment? The company's called World Wrestling Entertainment,
And
so
that's
you're
what I'm
getting the
saying.
full
That if you like
aspect.
that kind of stuff, that's cool. But you're comparing it to
You did at one
AEW and
point.
New
You
Japan shows. This ain't what they do over there. We watch
okay, but
wrestling over
yes, but
there.
sometimes okay, but sometimes with AEW and New Japan, maybe not New Japan, but AEW, there you have matches, mad matches that don't need to be happening for mad long. So you
I
can't sit
still
here and
enjoy
shit
it.
on because you're a
It's
fanboy.
matches. It's in ring. That's the
Yeah.
remember.
What
I like
shit?
in ring. I don't care about the talking. That's always been
I
my.
just what
That's never changed.
what happened with you that you got so jaded to entertainment?
It just became during the downtime of WWE when it was basically like two matches a night. It was just I realized that like this is not what I like.
Yeah, but you didn't like it from a time when Vince McMahon was at the helm and giving us literally garbage. Now it's that's like saying you watch a if you're watching I don't know a film or something and it's an action film and there's a lot of dialogue. You can't enjoy dialogue in between action.
Yeah, but the dialogue sometimes don't last as long as it does in wrestling. Like to me, like you say for action, right? If it's an action film and it's more dialogue than action, it's not an action film to me, and I'm not gonna like it. I'm sorry.
You're not gonna like, but if it's a good dialogue and there's a good story, like
Yeah,
that's
if it's
my
a good
thing is you
story,
don't
sure,
you don't have
but
to sit you
I'm
don't
not
have to
sitting.
sit here you don't have to sit here and pigeonhole or keep it something in a box because it's not strictly wrestling or something's not strictly action. Sometimes you need stuff to prolong a
I
storyline.
understand that. There's dialogue in AEW. There's dialogue in New Japan. I just don't need it to be 30 minutes of dialogue. I don't need it to be 7 minutes of somebody walking to the ring. That's just not my. That's not. It doesn't fit me
Who's your favorite wrestler
right now.
ever ever
Before that,
ever?
Triple
Your
H.
favorite your other favorite wrestler?
Who?
Or when you first started watching wrestling, who was the one that got you?
Oh no, you talking about no? That wasn't. Undertaker didn't get me. I just remember that thought. Undertaker didn't get me. I enjoyed the
You always
entire
you,
presentation.
you always talk about
That's
fine.
my first thought. That's my first
Okay,
memory
so
was
fine.
Undertaker.
So outside of Undertaker, Triple H. Triple H he's your favorite wrestler of all time, or one
Yeah,
of your favorite. Okay,
yeah.
he had long entrances. You didn't have an issue with that, did you?
He didn't have long entrances. My man, entrance is like a minute and a half. A
Yo,
minute.
as time went on, and his elaborate ass entrances, specifically at WrestleMania, you had no problem with that. You had
WrestleMania
no
is
problem
different.
with that.
I don't hold WrestleMania interests to against the wrestlers because it's WrestleMania. You want to make it it's the grandest stage of them all. You do all extra interests. If still, you can take the longest entrance that Triple H has ever done and compare it to Roman Reigns' entrance. It is not gonna add up.
Okay, cool. Roman. Okay, fine. We all know Roman's interest is way too long. We'll get.
Well, I
That's
know.
fine.
Well, I'm just
But
saying, like,
Roman wasn't on the show. Listen, say what you want. Cody, the way people gravitate to Cody is absolutely amazing. So and his entrances are very long too, but it's dope. It gives me chills. You know how The Rock always be on some like with the goosebump stuff. Cody's entrances are very
But I've been on
it's
Cody
very
before y'all
entertaining.
liked
So,
them.
huh?
So I've been on Cody before y'all liked them. So I don't. That doesn't
No,
bother me.
but now you're not on Cody because he's with WWE. Like,
Not. No, I still follow his story.
okay.
I
All
do.
right. Anyway, we've gone along about the time, how long it
But
was, but
but we're gonna
needless.
talk because we're gonna talk about Cody when we get to that line. I've
So
been following
needless
the
to say,
story.
the PLE started off with the women's elimination chamber match, and it had, who did it feature? Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, Liv
My girl
Morgan,
Trinity.
Trinity. She had a good showing. Did I name every? Oh, and Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know if you've been following Raquel's story and why she's been gone for so long.
I think she's dealing with some health issues. Correct.
Yeah, she was dealing with some skin disorder, or I don't know, or like some immune system
I'll look it up.
disorder. But her skin, she's like crazy, like inflammation, that
Mhm.
if she put on makeup or whatever, she would just get, it would just like her face would inflame. So she returned back. Well, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but the battle that she had to go
MCAS
through to get
Flair.
here. Yeah, so she'll flare up. Like, it just really, like, her skin be would with hives and rash, red, swollen. So she really had to go through. She posted this on her in her Instagram, but the journey to get back to here was a lot. She came back that one episode of Raw to get into the
Qualify.
last, qualify for the elimination chamber, and she wore makeup, and that inflamed her skin, so she had to come out during elimination chamber fresh face, bare face, all. So I wanted to touch on that because shout out to her, because with WWE superstars, specifically the women, everything
Glitz and glamour.
everything yeah, it's about glamour, right? So, and that's, your appearance is everything, especially when it comes to women. So for her to bear it all and come literally barefaced and compete at a high level, we definitely wanted to give her flowers for that. So definitely shout out to her. And it was a great match. Again, you talking about the time limit. I realized after a while, like, damn, this shit is long. I forgot to mention Becky. I forgot to mention Becky Lynch, but it was a good match. Outside of the fact that it was really long,
Right.
as always, the women always do their thing. They always. I don't want to. I don't know if they outperformed the men this time.
I
I
heard
think
they
that
did.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that, but the men did a good job this time around. So I will say that, right? So it wasn't
Right.
a thing like, ah, damn, the men didn't show out. The women, as always, showed out. I'm happy that Naomi gets. She's being booked more seriously. Yes, she didn't win, but she's being booked more seriously. So I like that we're seeing that. It was interesting to see Bianca, because Bianca hasn't taken a pin. She's a female John Cena. So for her to, it was interesting to see
They
how
got
she,
control that.
yeah. But listen, the fans love her. That hasn't been a thing where
I mean, they
people
love John
turn.
Cena in the beginning too.
Yeah, but this has been going on. This has been going on for years, and she's they're booking her well. They're booking her well. So she did good. Liv performed well, and the only thing
How did
about
she get
that
eliminated?
is, how did Bianca get eliminated? By
Mm.
Liv. She got eliminated by Liv. She rolled her up, a quick pin, and then Becky did the, what is it, the man slam or whatever it's called, and then that's how Becky won. The only downside to their match, to the women's elimination chamber match, was Becky winning. I mean, listen, I know they, with the kickoff show, they they've been they've been teasing it, her and
Right.
Rhea, and it's been a minute since Becky has had the title, so I get it. But I'm just, in this situation, I want to see what else was there to offer. We've seen Bianca already dominate. We've seen, again, Becky dominate. People very high on Tiffany Stratton, Tiffy time. So it would
Yeah.
have been a nice opportunity. I'm not sure why Jade wasn't in there still. What's
Because they're
going
trying to
on with
protect
her?
her. She still hasn't lost, so they're trying to protect that. Well, she
I
lost,
get
but you
I
know.
get it, but yeah, she did. That's so right. So it would have been the same thing with how Bianca was essentially protected. So I don't know, but and I guess you're not gonna really say Raquel was gonna be the one to face Rhea or anybody else, so it made sense for Becky. But I, I'm not
Well, it's somebody
upset.
new.
Yeah, I'm not upset, but if someone new would have been cool.
Um, I did see the comments. I saw people complaining about Naomi being the first one eliminated. You gotta remember, guys, like Naomi's coming in when the road to WrestleMania is already set. Like they planned this out like last year before they even knew that this girl was coming back. So um give it time. Like give it to after WrestleMania, and then let's see what happens with Naomi from there. You can't just expect her to come in and then she's right back on top. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it works. There's people before, and I'm pretty sure that's not what she would want either, to step in and take somebody else's spot that was already destined. You know what I mean? In terms of Bianca, like you said, she's been protected. It's interesting to see which way to go with her. I was gonna bring up the Jade situation because people are acting like, all right, we got all this for Jade, and we still don't know what's going on with who she's signing with and things of that nature. I think she signed back in like August ish, so it's been like over 6 months, and after that, it's been kind of cooled down for the most part. But people got to remember she also went through some personal things as well during that time where she had to step away and get some things right in her life. So just give it's look at me defending WWE, right? Just give her.
That's all we
Yo,
want,
Jenna
dude. That's
look
all.
mad proud right now. Like,
That's all we. That's all we want. Just a little bit of just defend WWE. That's all.
oh my gosh, Jenna looks so proud right now. But Jay's getting in time with those two,
A
and
proud mama.
I'm
A
pretty
proud mama bear.
I'm sure they'll figure it out for them. But yes, in terms of the elimination chamber, you got to give somebody else a chance. Sometimes, like with both the men and the women. Like we'll talk about the men's chamber a little bit later, I guess. But like, you gotta. This is a chance where you build your stars. You took the opportunity to build stars away from Royal Rumble, so you got to
Right.
put it in somewhere.
Right.
So elimination chamber would have been the next thing. Like when the unpredictable, just like how you had Liv Morgan pin Bianca out of nowhere. That's the moments that people get caught off guard is inside the cell. Well, inside of the chamber. So this would have been a great opportunity to give Liv a chance, give Tiffany Stratton a chance, somebody a chance to not main event, but at least be part of WrestleMania and in the title picture, and give them some momentum going into it. Bianca, like
My
Becky,
only.
we done Becky. Like how many times we done Becky
Yeah.
already?
Yeah. My only thing is with Tiffany Stratton and then Liv Morgan. I think it was cool for Liv to pin Bianca because that gives her legitimacy. Tiffany, she's another like a lot of people were kind of up in arms and said she was robbed, and people are very behind Tiffany, and she's very talented. I mean, like bullshit, her moonsault is fire, and then she did something off the top of the pot. I don't recall the move, but that was fire. Um, but in that sense, like someone like her who's just coming in, I don't think you can necessarily throw them into to the Mania title picture, right? So I think
Right,
you should that someone should be build she's someone that should be built up. Whereas Naomi, I agree in the sense of like you just coming back. And I think the main thing with Naomi in her previous run in WWE was not necessarily because she didn't get a title picture opportunity, but just an opportunity in a storyline, right? So
right,
that's more so the thing, not necessarily, hey, it'd be great, right? I'm sure she loved the opportunity to be at WrestleMania and fight for a title again. But I think it's more so the fact it has to make sense. And that's why I said I love how, even though she was eliminated first, it still wasn't on some like silly bullshit
right.
or even in the Rumble, right? She was one of the, wasn't she the last
Well,
four?
yeah.
She
No, she was
lasted
in
for
the.
a long.
I don't think she was one
She
of the
lasted,
last
yeah. She
four.
lasted.
She lasted a long
Someone,
time though.
yeah. So it was just like, so now we see that her booking is different from her previous run. Let's see where it goes with that. But so I guess the competitors in this particular match, I guess it doesn't really make sense. The only one that made sense was Becky, but I'm hoping moving forward now we can really dive into building characters because Now it'll then again, this is everything that we've discussed, right? Rhea's been a champion for the whole year, and she hasn't really defended that title. So it's like, who does it make sense for her to defend that title with? Because you're not building up the character. So that's my caveat in regards to all of this. Like, okay, cool, it's a great match, but no one seemed realistic in regards to winning. So I know we're in the middle of Mania season, but after Mania, let's build these women's characters. Let's build these characters. So if someone has a title, they can drop it in 3 months, or they can drop it in 6 months, or they can drop it in a year, and it makes sense who they're facing and who winds up winning that title.
So I'm looking at Rhea's record right now. And the last thing since November 28th of 2022 was a draw with Mia Yim. Other than that, in singles competition, she has not been pinned. She has not been submitted. And I'm still going back and trying to find a singles. And see, that's the crazy thing. So the last time that Rhea Ripley got pinned was by Liv Morgan on May 29th, 2022. That's the last pin.
Yeah, and
So
I think
it'd have been a good story
right,
to have Liv Morgan go into WrestleMania with this momentum, knowing
right,
that this fact is there. That the
right.
last time you lost was to Liv Morgan.
And then see, that's the thing. WWE's gotten to this thing where if someone is a champion, that means that they can't get pinned. There was a time back in the Attitude Era or previously, like, yes, that just because the champion loses doesn't mean all of a sudden they look weak. It's just the
They
competitor
had a
got the
vulnerable
best of
moment.
them. Yeah, they had a vulnerable moment. It happens whether someone cheated or whether just someone, like, got the best of them. There was their competitors would win. Now it's a situation where no one, like, first of all, they don't fight, and if they do fight, they don't take a pin, whatever. And that's annoying, because again, what goes back to how you build up a wrestler or a superstar is they gotta win. They gotta get one up someone. There's so
Yeah.
many different things that you gotta do to build up a character. And if it's a situation where they're not even interacting with the champion, or they're not even, like, they didn't get the best of them, then what's the point? Then it doesn't look believable. That's why, again, in this elimination chamber match, there was no one outside of Becky and maybe Bianca that looked like they were gonna win.
Yeah. No, then you gotta remember, like, these pins that you get on these champions is how you build contenders as well, right?
Exactly.
Like you put them
Exactly.
in a tag team match. Oh snap! He or she pinned the champion. That makes them the
Exactly.
number one contender, or that gives them a shot in the future. That's not happening
Exactly.
anymore.
It's
So
not happening anymore.
how we building stories?
And it's not happening anymore. And again, like, God forbid someone, your champion, shit, Seth Rollins is injured, right? And it
Right.
looks like he'll be able to face Drew at WrestleMania. But what if it's a situation where he wasn't able to face Drew? Now you have to drop the title. Now who's next in line? And now you have to, like, pick at straws of, like, who's gonna be the next one in line. But you didn't build anybody to make it look plausible for them to be next in line. So, see,
and
I
and,
know
and
how
it's
to I
still
know how
and
to
it's
critique WWE still, but yeah, those are the things that I want to see moving forward. I get it, we're in Mania season right now, and now the storylines are booked, the matches are booked, but they really need to focus on building contenders,
yeah,
because this can't continue to be a thing, year long reigns, and no one's in the forefront to potentially take those titles away.
yeah. What else happened now, Elimination Chamber?
I don't want to get too much into the card, just the things that stood out. I know you had an issue with Grayson Waller's show, that he
I
felt
didn't
it
have an
happened
issue
way
with
too
it.
long.
I think yeah, like I feel like if you're gonna do something like that, add it to the kickoff show. Like add it somewhere else, not in the middle of the
Okay,
card. Not and
okay,
like you mess up the flow. Like there's a like I said, I got the runtime of the show between because of that segment, right? Excuse me. Because of that segment alone, you have 55 minutes between the end of the Judgment Day versus Bate and Dunn's match into the men's elimination chamber. 55 minutes of no wrestling because you added in this 22 minutes of Grayson Waller effect segment, plus your ads and commercials and entrance. You know what I'm saying? Like people that's at the stadium not gonna try to sit there for an hour watching all this. You kind of tune it out a little bit. I get it that he's from out there, and I get that he's from Australia, and it's a good moment for him and things
Yeah.
of that nature. But sometimes it messes up the flow of the show too.
I understand it messes the flow of the show, but I think in a situation where I agree with everything with what you're saying, especially when you said the kickoff, that sounds like a something that could have been done. But I feel like when you say mess up the flow, we also do have to remember again. I'm just trying to be mindful of that we're so accustomed to getting these events, right? So
Right.
we're used to it. Having whatever Australia isn't. So maybe it didn't mess up the flow of the show for them. Maybe like they were just hyped to be in this environment, and it gave off a WrestleMania type of feel, even though it wasn't WrestleMania. So I'm just thinking, looking from the outside in, as listen, us as Americans, we get all of
Yeah, of
this.
course.
But for people in Australia and other countries, that may not be a thing, a constant thing. So maybe this was they were taking all this and all of this to see someone from that's from out there, and then to do that shoey thing that they do, um, to see Seth Rollins, to see Cody Rhodes,
Of
and
course.
so I that's my thing. I hear what you're saying. I think
But then
that
cut
the
out the
segment should be
ads.
shorter.
Add the ads somewhere else. Like don't make them
Gotta
sit
make
there for an
gotta make it
hour.
gotta make your money, which is stupid because now that I think about it, yeah, you're right. When we had the point of pay per views in the past, so the same thing should be with PLEs. It's like we shouldn't get
So
ads. We
right.
shouldn't get ads because it's a pay per view. But then I guess if you pay for the subscription, this is how stuff works nowadays. This is a conversation for another day. Just in general, how we view things, and that's even outside of wrestling. But this is the day and age we live on. We have subscriptions, and you either pay for the subscription with no ads, or you pay for the subscription with ads. Because actually Coley, he pays for Peacock with no ads, and he was saying it was promos being shown,
See?
and other right. So while I pay my little $4.99, I got the commercials, but I was okay with it. And I was fighting my
But
sleep,
then
so I was like,
promos
all
and
right, he gave me a break.
commercials. That's
Huh?
how they get you. They playing promos, but that's commercials.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but hey, it's geared towards the product as opposed to just random commercials about cheeses.
I take the
So
Cheez Its over. I already know what's going on. I follow the
I,
product at this point.
I don't know, but I do agree. Maybe it could have been condensed a little bit, but again, I'm just looking from the outside in. I would love to hear someone's opinion that's from out there.
Right.
Maybe it was different for them. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, definitely.
But outside of that, we also had the men's elimination chamber match, and Drew McIntyre won. What were your thoughts in
That's a
regards to
gamble.
him? Why is it a gamble?
Because at the end of the day, he's still not signed. His contract is coming up. So do we really believe that he'd be the one to defeat Seth? I get it that he had to call the audible after CM Punk's injury. Um, but it's like, is Drew Lee the one? I feel like Drew already had a shot. No,
Yeah, Drew had his opportunity, but the thing is, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but a lot of people was like, "Oh, he didn't get the chance to win a championship in front of the fans," and
how long we gonna ride that though?
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm like, there's so many people that don't get opportunities. So the fact that he even was able to
Got
not
his name in the
only
history books.
right, not only was he able to win a championship, he had a nice reign, and him and Bobby Lashley at the Mania in Tampa, I forget the number, had a good match. It's like, why y'all be so like put your cape on for certain people? Oh, because he didn't get to win in front of fans. So what? I'm sorry.
I heard that one.
You heard that? I don't know if you want to take that out or whatever, but
No, no, it's New York
it's
life.
New York. It's New York. But I heard that one. But yeah, it's there's so many people that don't get opportunities, whether it's win championships or whatever the case might be. That's just the gamble when it comes to wrestling. So like you said, to keep writing that is just why are we still doing that? But with that said, I know it makes the most sense because he's been an intricate part of the whole Seth and CM Punk thing and intertwining and all of that. So it makes sense. So it was a good. See, that's a thing where character development worked out, or right because Punk was supposed to be the one. He got
Right.
injured, but Drew was still in the midst of all of that. So now it's like easy audible. Like, all right,
Right.
just have Drew win, and that's what they need to do with a lot of people. Just so again, if the show doesn't stop or
Somebody
whatever the
into the
case may be,
wings.
right? So in that sense, like again, how long are we gonna keep writing that he hasn't won a title in front of the fans? Fine, but you know,
He got to
it
finish the
made them.
story.
Yeah, finish the story. Everyone has to finish their story. It made the most sense. And obviously, when you say the whole contract stuff, this is probably the incentive. Like, right? Punk, not Punk. Seth is injured. I don't know if he's gonna be fully healed by Mania and afterwards. So the best opportunity would be to give this man the title, and maybe that's his incentive to stay. Maybe,
Right.
or maybe he drops it the next day. Who knows? But that's probably
Cash
his
in.
incentive. Saying cash in. Damian Priest still has his
Who remembers that though? Like I feel like that's like an afterthought to everything now. Like they're the tag team champions and they're doing this stuff with our truth. We know we love our truth on this show, but it's just like
just to
the
switch gears
briefcase
real
used to
quick.
be the
To
briefcase
switch gears. Hold on, to switch gears real quick. Shout out to our truth because he's gold, committed gold. Right, this
always
you
never
ask him to
misses.
do something and he takes it to the next level. But yeah, it is an afterthought. It seems like a lot of people every time lately these past couple of years with the Money in the Bank briefcase, it's just
For the
like
men.
for the men specifically, yeah, it's just like
Okay.
what are we
We don't know
doing?
what we're doing.
He might as well cash in on Rhea at this point. That'd be a more interesting storyline. Like
And even with the women's,
band
and the reason why I
members.
say the
Got
reason why I
what?
say the men's is because even with the women's, they win the money in the briefcase
Yeah,
and cash it the same night. Like
yeah.
they don't even get a chance to carry
There's
it
no
for the last couple
opportunity
of
wasted.
years.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
So it's
I don't
like,
know. I don't know,
yeah,
man. But I feel that's either it's gonna be that he wins and that's like, listen, we want you to stay, so we're gonna give you the title type thing, or it's a
right.
thing of he wins and like you said, there's a cash in and Priest finally comes out and cashes that freaking briefcase, Mister
But
Senor Money in the Bank.
here's the kicker though.
Mm.
Who really takes this title seriously? I mean, Seth done amazing things with this title, right? He's elevated it. He put prestige behind it as much as he can. Who really values it as much as the other title?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I hear what you're saying and I
Because I feel like even
agree.
Seth still feels a way about it. Like it's like a consolation prize. Like, yeah, hold on to this. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I don't I think it's what you consider a worksman title is what Seth has done with it. So I think
But what
there's
about the
some
IC title? That's what that's supposed to be.
true, true. You're right. But I think the prestige would have came if Punk was able to face Seth because that was something that was hot. That was a hot feud coming in. No matter which way you slice and dice it, that was a hot feud coming in, and
So you think
everybody
the feud would
was
have made the title?
yeah. But I think that's the case with a lot of cases, right? Over the years with different titles. It could be Reigns that make give the prestige to the title or the amount of battles and feuds that come with the title. I look at Roman's title and it's just like
They created it because Michael took it off the other person. Like, all right, this person got all the titles. Let's just make another one. Just keep everybody happy. That's how I look at it. That's how Seth looked
but
at
that
it.
is the
That's how
case.
AJ looked at it.
That
You
is the
know what I'm
case.
saying?
That is the case. But I think it goes also to you can't keep having fucking titles held on to with one person associated with. So if we have multiple champions and of prestige, then it's like because imagine you said Seth holds this title, Drew holds this title, Gunther, Randy, CM Punk. Like now you have like some
Some kind of
formidable names
lineage.
that held it. Now it's looked at like, yo, top dudes held this title. So I mean, I like it better than Roman's title, the WWE Undisputed title. I aesthetically I like that this one better. I
Yeah, of
want the
course.
women's I want the women's one, but yeah, I just
But I don't think
more
the
people
name
need to hold
matters.
it.
I don't think the name matters because even when you think about like the world heavyweight title when Big E and Bobby Lashley and all of them was winning it, they was trying to put names behind it, right? To just give it that same like sting, like, yo, this title matters. But everybody still lets it like, but that's not the title that the company values. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a title that the company is like, yeah, this is a championship, but the title that the company actually values is on SmackDown, on the A show. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always that stink of it, and that's why I hate having these titles because it's like if that's the case, have them defended on both shows to really
Yeah,
give it the prestige that it needs. Just have one title that
yeah,
everybody goes after. When you have two
I get
titles,
it.
it's like one A and one B.
Yeah, but at this point, with brand splits, with the amount of talent they have nowadays, it just unfortunately having one title is, and clearly we're saying there's a problem with character development. Wrestlers,
Yeah,
so they focus on two people when there's a slew of main eventers that could go for these titles. So that's you have to
so
have
think
two
about
at this
that. If they
point.
had one, they wouldn't have that problem because they all would be going after the same title,
But I think we would have that problem still because again, WWE doesn't know at this point has gotten away from booking multiple people
multiple
strong.
stories.
Right. Like the one
Sad.
time right at before Rumble, we had Roman, Randy, LA Knight, AJ Styles. That's the first time in a long, long time where it was like, yo, mad main eventers look strong and anyone could have, you know what I mean? But we're living in
Right.
the Roman Reigns era where of course he's not going to lose. He's going to lose at Mania, something significant. But again, going back to the Attitude Era, right? Like I always say, Rock, Austin, Kurt Angle, Triple H, Undertaker. At one point, they booked Rakishi for you know what I mean. There was
Right.
mad people at the top that could
Mad
have potentially
stories.
won. Mad stories, and it wasn't just The Rock that won. It was Austin that won. It was Triple H. It was Kurt Angle. Yeah, eventually Chris Jericho. There was mad people up there that was able to, grasp the brass knuckles. In this situation, it's like the ceiling is here, and yeah, we have people there, but you're never gonna get there, and that's
Right.
unfortunate with how they book stuff now. So I don't know, like with I we got to see how this match goes at Mania, and hopefully we have more champions that come along for the heavyweight title for it to get some type of prestige. But I don't know. I
Yo, what
guess
they
this has
doing, my
been fun.
man AJ?
I don't know.
That's bad. Like,
I
he
don't know.
came back looking like a badass again, and I'm reading these reports, and he's about to go against LA Knight.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. He did take out LA Knight, so that's not a bad feud to get into.
He should be in the main picture.
A lot of people should be in the main picture. But yeah, so shout out to Drew McIntyre. He can finish his story. He deserves it to win in front of the fans. Woo, yippee. But lastly, the main event
Yippee.
between Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley. Shout out to both of them. I'm not one to really give Nia her flowers. She did her thing as a counterpart against Rhea Ripley. Rhea looked like an absolute legitimate star, badass, and to win in front of her home
Hometown,
country like that,
home country. Yep.
yeah, it was dope to see. And she's really has come to her own. I really, really enjoy her as a superstar. Even prior, you just saw she was
Yeah.
destined for being a top star. But right, she literally like just her look, the way she puts her makeup together, her gear, she just looks like a champion. And they did well. They did well. The spots that they took, I was very impressed, and shout out to WWE for making that the main event because, if this was a Vince run show, right, ran show, it would have been a thing. But like, yeah, it's her hometown, but she's still
Mm,
not gonna get the main event because
right.
let's put the men's elimination chamber went.
That's the
So
story.
that's the story. So for them to like play onto that,
Yeah.
very happy with the result.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as much as we give shit to Rhea being champion, it's not her fault that she's had it this long with no lack of competition.
Right.
We've always been supporters of her on this show. We noted when her confidence was hurt when she lost to Charlotte, when she should have never lost to Charlotte. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she should have been a star.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that she's getting her moments now. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to be a situation where it's a forgettable moment because everybody's like, all right, she didn't really have anybody. So who else would they put it on? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's our real gripe is like we don't want it to be that for her because she deserves so much more.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that yeah, if you look back on this title reign, then you're probably gonna be like,
Right. That sucks. That's
it's
corny. Like,
you
what's
know
that?
I think, but when you look at the general run that she's had, I think what you can take from it that again she's made herself into a legitimate star. Shit, as a woman running a all male faction, that's actually
Yeah,
awesome. You don't see that ever. So she literally established herself as the face of that faction. When you have someone like Finn Balor that's literally in there, that's amazing.
that's another
She's
one. I
tough.
want AJ to pull him out. I want AJ to like look at him like, what are you doing, man?
Right. That would
You know
that
where
would
we
that
come
was
from. You know what we could do, and you're out here running with these guys. Like
okay.
that'd be a perfect moment.
Was that supposed to be your AJ voice?
Yeah. What are you
Okay.
doing, man?
All right. Besides that, going back to Rhea, not only she's done that, but also with Dominic too. Dominic is one of the MVPs of last year, right? And
Right.
his growth in character wise, it,
All it took
he
was for him to
couldn't.
go to jail.
Yeah, he couldn't be at this point without Rhea. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think we can look at her run in that sense, like just everything else she's done fully. But as a champion, again, it's not her fault. So this don't come at us. It's not her fault that they booked her the way they did when it comes to championship matches, which is unfortunate. But her whole run has
Yeah.
been really really dope.
She makes everybody around her look better. She's like the
She
point guard of the
does.
team.
She does for sure. Yeah, you definitely give that to her.
All right, when we're done with Elimination Chamber, we spent most of the time speaking of Elimination Chamber. Let's touch on some other things. What are you going to talk about? What else do we have on the list that you
Well,
haven't yet? It's been a
let's
while.
try. It's been a while, so bear with us. But yeah, I mean, my goat, my goat, or one of my
Our
goats.
goat. Our goat.
No, we're not talking about Mercedes. But
Oh, okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
is that what
Oh, okay. Your
is
goat.
that if that's not what's up next? That's fine. We
Go
how you
ahead.
want
No,
to
go
take
ahead.
it?
Go ahead.
All
No,
right,
go ahead.
so
Continue. Continue.
my one of my goats. We'll get to our goat, but one of my goats, The Rock, is finally back, and he is in full heel mode. Do you think
Is
this
he?
heel? Do you think this heel turn was it? Is it was it planned, or they had to call an audible because of the reaction from the fans in regards to Cody finishing his story?
I really don't know. It could be half and half. I heard
Mm-hmm.
that they're trying to create the whole yes movement all over again for Cody. Um, I heard, The Rock wanted to be a part of this from the get go. It could be a setup for The Rock and Roman for next year because the way The Rock is moving, it's kind of like suspect. Him being healed and doing things to certain, like I saw him throw up the L instead of the one, like things like that. Like so it could be a setup. You never know. And when he's calling them like you're gonna lose, he pointing at Roman without Roman really realizing it, like he's in the way, and it's like see if there's some things that are being read into that this is what the setup for, and if that's the case, then I don't know how I feel about it because I feel like the Cody story was good on its own,
Mm-hmm.
and then adding in the Rock, I don't know if it added to it. I mean, the media attention is there, but I don't know. I feel like the Cody, you know me, I'm a big Cody supporter, and I feel like that story alone was good enough. I really wish they would have did, especially since Seth is hurt, and you probably have to take a step down with Drew McIntyre. They definitely could have made it a situation where they had Cody and Roman on one night, and then have the Rock and Roman on another night, and not hurt anybody's story. That's the way I was looked at it. And I thought that's the way they was going to go with it. So when they said the whole passing, having Cody act like he's going to give The Rock his spot, that was kind of weird to me. But I feel like they could have definitely pulled off a double nighter for Roman, especially since he doesn't wrestle that much. It's not like it's not like he's tired or anything like that.
Right. No, I hear you. No, I don't know. I'm thinking. I think so. The main theme of this episode seems to be like character development and stuff like that. So the fact that if this wasn't planned for The Rock to turn heel, they they called the audible because they saw how passionate people were, Cody crybabies were in regards to all of this. So they adapted because again, if this was a Vince McMahon ran show, it would have been
So what?
so what? We're gonna still run this way,
The way
and
I wanted to do it.
the way I want it. And the thing, and one thing about The Rock, he loves the attention and fans adoring him. So if the moment he hears that there's not everyone is fully on his side cheering him, he's
You
gonna
too, then.
play. He's gonna play. He's gonna play into it. So he shout out to them for calling this audible. I think you're right. They could have been a double duty thing where it was night one could have been Rock versus Roman. Like who's the tribal, who is the actual head of the table. Then assuming so, Roman winning and he moves on to Cody. And then Cody could finish his story. So it could have been multiple ways they could have played this. Um I will say again, I'm a fan of how they call it the audible. Now it's because I'm so like PTSD gives me like they were gonna keep it this way and they weren't gonna,
Right.
but they did the right thing instead of giving Cody to Seth.
Which nobody
Let's
wanted.
just
We've seen that so many times.
exactly. And Cody's won multiple times against Seth, so it's like Seth has to get a win on Cody's. So it would have been another thing of Cody winning against Seth, it just didn't make sense. So the fact that they were able to call this audible and then they're playing into everything, we'll see. I don't know if it was when The Rock put up the ones and it wound up being an L. Was it just him being out of touch and not realizing? You know how it is, right? When
Right.
you're not fully into something, you don't realize how it's supposed to be held. So he did
Right.
that. Or maybe it is. The Rock is very good at playing up to things and whatever, good, bad, or indifferent. He may not be The Rock from 1998, but he's still very good at what he does. So it could have been a thing where that was, he was playing into it like, yo, I'm gonna attack Roman, and then Roman loses against Cody, and then
Right.
again, like you said, it sets up Rock and Roman next year for to be who's the true head of the table because now you have a year long build. So if that would be the
Or
case, kind of
SummerSlam.
like or SummerSlam, it doesn't have to be that. So I'm enjoying it where it's going. I love that The Rock is back for the time being.
Which is corporate
Um,
rock now.
Corporate Rock, legitimately corporate Rock, no
Right.
doubt about it.
You
So
got the
yeah,
corporation
so
all over again. Got Triple H, got The Rock.
yeah, but Triple H ain't with the shits. That's the thing. Triple H ain't never messed with The Rock, so it's gonna be interesting with the roles reversed with him being the face and The Rock being the heel. So
Yeah, so let's get into this Vince McMahon uh life story in a sense. I think Vice is actually working on a story for about this, and they're trying to block it. Wow. I mean, we knew he was evil, right? We knew this man was not of stellar, and but now that you know everything that you know now, it's like, man, you're disgusting. You're evil and disgusting.
I mean, it's I don't. It's nothing I can say. I know you said we know this man has been disgusting and his record has been less than stellar or whatever the case might be, but it's kind of like I told you so type thing. Even though everyone
Yeah,
knows it's nothing. I'm not surprised. It's disgusting reading what we read, and I know I don't want to get too in depth into it because I know we're a couple of weeks behind, but it 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 is what it is. We already knew what it was when it came to Vince McMahon. Now, the more so, it begs the question: where does WWE, shit, wrestling in general, like after Vince McMahon? Like, what? what do you foresee in regards to WWE? Because listen, I know you don't watch it often, but I feel it's been cooking for months in
Right.
regards to what we've been getting. Does that path does it continue down that path, or do we expect more drama coming in the next few weeks, months or so? Like what's your take on all of this?
I feel like um first of all, I want to point out like, when you look at you hear what the things that he said and done, and look at the storylines that he pushed, it's just like it's like R. Kelly all over again. Like like putting his life into his art, and it's just disgusting, right?
Mm,
In terms of like the next couple of weeks, months, and years, it's a scary moment because now you like from those. I like again for those that don't know, I come from a law background. I went to school for law. I didn't finish, but those things intrigued me. So when the lawsuit came out, I actually read the indictment, right, or what the paperwork for the lawsuit, and
mm,
it's naming people in secondhand by positions, by like kind of like John Doe, Jane Doe kind of situations. So people are starting to try to plug in names, right?
mm.
When you do things like that and people know things that was going on and just turn the blind eye, that's a dangerous situation because that
For
means
sure.
that you knew what was happening and you helped cover it up. And a lot of
Right.
those people are still there. So a lot of people are saying those people that helped cover it up shouldn't be there as well. And a lot of people that they're heading hinting to are in prominent roles of this new WWE in a sense. So now TKO, who just bought this company, has to, in a sense, may have to start doing some cleanup on their own in their own investigations because apparently the investigations that was held between Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Nick Khan wasn't really an investigation to begin with, where they basically turn a blind eye to a lot of information. I mean, so that kind of puts the company in a I don't know situation because you don't know
It's
what more information is coming out. And like it has been very hesitant because now you have this guy. What's this guy name that used to be around Vince all the time? Um,
done.
the
Kevin Dunn.
Bellas, no, the Bellas former stepfather,
Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis.
Laurinaitis. Now he's claiming that he's a victim, and now he's trying to point because now he was pointed as one of the people that was a part of Vince McMahon's circle. Now he's trying to turn on Vince McMahon and naming names to get himself out of it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a lot that's happening that's still being held in like in the court of law and all that other stuff and trying to figure out the information, and more people are reaching out to the lawyers. Like this could turn into a class action suit. It's a lot. Like this brought out a lot of information that was hidden, and it's just like you don't know how far it could reach. And to be honest with you, when they asked Triple H that question at the medium scrum, his answer was very troubling because it's like these things are being said about your father-in-law, and you decided, and you're supposed to be ahead of the locker room, and you're saying that you didn't even read it. You know what I mean? Like if somebody says something about my father-in-law or about a company that I'm a part of, you will be quick to read the paperwork to see like, all right, what am I up against, or talk to lawyers like, all right, how do I handle this? But for you to sit there and say, yeah, I'm not answering any questions about it, and no, I didn't read about it, it's kind of like alarming because it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like it paints a picture like you don't care about what's happening or what being said, and you shouldn't be in that position if you don't care about what's happening to your workers. So I don't know. It's a lot. A lot happened that week.
So
What about
I
you?
hear I hear what you're saying, but I also feel you have to understand outside of WWE, this is what so many corporations, there's so many demons and people who run these companies shit. And this is not me saying anything about TKO, but I wouldn't be surprised if you if we ever heard something in that sense, right? Because
By any company, you're right.
by any company, right? Because people typically in positions of power abuse their
Abuse it.
power, right? In every such stretch of the imagination. So I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, that meeting between those three and TKO, that it was brushed under the rug because who knows what skeletons they have on their end. And UFC, there's I don't put it past anybody at this point. When it comes to in regards to Triple H and not having any comments in regards to that, I think that's a pretty generic standard practice when it comes to people that don't want to necessarily discuss controversies or stuff that's going on with something. I just think it's a general thing in the sense of he didn't have anything to say because I don't think he wanted to give too much. That's
Yep.
my thing.
Yeah, but I feel like when they give like blatant, like, avoiding answers, like, hey, this is a lost situation, we're not going to answer it, we're being advised not to answer it, da, da, da. The way he responded was much like, I didn't care for it. Like, literally, that's what it was. It's like, it
I
was
think
like
he was.
it was like,
I
I
think
didn't read
he.
it. He's like, I didn't read it. He literally said, I didn't read the statement, and I'm not going to talk to about it. That's
I'm
what he said.
sure, but I'm sure he did read it. He has no choice but to read it because he's in a position
So then
of
he lied.
power.
Like, that's
Sure,
even worse.
I mean, but let's not be gullible and think like again, like I just
When
said,
they like,
people in
I didn't
hold on,
expect the
people
response.
hold on, wait, people in positions of power and there's the face of something, they're gonna beat around the bushes. So his thing was, I don't want to talk about it. Doesn't mean it doesn't. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. And who knows? He may have some ties to all this. Who knows? But you lawyers could probably and publicists probably advising you to speak a certain way. You don't know. But to say the chief content officer, that's his title, whatever. He's not aware of the comments and
Man
of the
said,
statements. If he didn't, I mean, if he didn't read it, someone didn't rely that to him. Come on.
Man said, we had a great week. Let's not bring down a dark cloud. I'm like,
That
what?
sounds like that's every company head of a company does that. You
It
know
wasn't a
that.
great week though. Like, you had a week of
You
turmoil. It's not
Boo,
a
come
great
on.
week.
It's not. It's the same thing that Tony Khan does to clean up stuff. It's the same thing that any type of owner does to
Nah, the
clean up
way
something doesn't want to. Come on. There's no accountability, specifically in an interview. You think that anybody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, this is what happened," and
no.
yeah,
Again,
this is
I
fucked
didn't
up.
expect
No
the
one's gonna say
response,
that.
but I didn't expect that I don't care nonchalant
I don't know why
attitude
you
towards it
didn't.
either.
I don't know why you didn't. Shit. Even when the medium scrum happened after Rumble, it was less. Let's not have Triple H be the first one come out because he always is the first one to come out. I thought that man wasn't going to come out to avoid said
That's what I'm
question,
saying. Like, my man
but
told
he
a
eventually
long
came.
speech. It was like, any
You don't think
questions?
that you don't think this is rehearsed and how we're gonna move about it. Come on, of course
Yeah, but
that was gonna be
again,
his response.
I
You were
understand that,
expecting
but
way too much. You were
no, no,
expecting
no,
way
no.
too
It's not
much.
just me. Just the world in general. The way he responding it, the world, and like, you look at Twitter, everybody's like, "Wow." Even people that defend WWE to the end, they're like, "Wow, that's not the way you respond to that." Like, that was crazy.
I don't think it's I didn't think it was the way to respond to it, and I thought I think you should come out first. He didn't come out first, but
Yeah,
that's
nah.
expected.
Even then,
That's
he told a
expected.
long speech.
Anytime that there's a controversy or something when it comes to a company, you think any Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase, is gonna sit here and tell you that yeah, our employees, yeah, our employees don't make that much money, but they're not going to sit here and address the issue. They're gonna beat around the bush for
Yeah, but be
legal
more sincere
purposes.
about it.
Again, Blue, you fixated on the fact that he didn't. Every leader or chairman or whatever of a company when they're in
A
front of
more
the
proper
media and
statement.
they represented it, it's since the beginning of time. No one sits here and addresses that, like addresses it head on.
Properly.
Who?
Nah, but like I said, like I said, I didn't expect him to answer any questions. I just expected him to be a little bit more
I don't know why.
professional about it.
I don't
Like,
know why. I don't know
he
why.
just man's
I'm not
man's
even
told a
trying to be
long
on some
speech.
defending shit. I don't know
My
why you
man's
thought.
my man's told a long speech. They asked him the question. My man's like, "Yeah, I'm not answering that. I didn't read nothing. We had a great week. We're not about to talk about the negatives. Let's move it forward." Like, what the heck?
But again, like I don't know why you would be surprised. Anytime there's any
I thought he'd be
controversy
more
or legal
prepared.
actions with any kind of type of
I
company
get
that
that, but
faces
it'd be more
controversy,
professional than that.
they
It,
never do though.
it's more professional than that, though.
No, it's not. It's literally they
They
try to
have
move what we
prepared
had.
statements. Be like, "Yo, our lawyers have
That's
advised
the
us." Da da
prepared
da da.
statement.
Like,
That's the prepared
even
statement.
Tony Khan was like, "Yo, we have the most safest locker room, and we're not gonna talk to these rumors and da 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 da." My man's
That's
like, "I don't
essentially
care."
It's
We
the
had a great
same
week. Let's
thing.
move forward.
The same thing. I don't know what you were expecting. You or anybody else would be very,
Oh man,
very foolish to think that he was going to sit here and, yeah, this, that, and the third.
my man was
Say
like,
less.
nah, we ain't talking about this.
Less is more. Less is more at this point. Less is
Oh
more.
man, no,
But
that was
anyway,
crazy. That was crazy.
we'll in regards to our now we can talk about our goats. And you
You don't want to say
mentioned
that for
Tony
last?
Khan.
Leave on a good note.
What else do we have to that is the good note. What else do we have to
Nah, we still
discuss?
got to talk about. You didn't want to talk about Mustafa Ali winning the X Division Championship since his
Nah,
departure. He's been
nah,
doing great. You don't want to talk about how Nick Namath has won the New Japan Pro Wrestling's global title this
uh,
past week,
no, we've
and
gone
and
we've
and beating
let's
David Finlay. And then you don't want to talk about Matt Riddle winning the
no.
New Japan Pro Wrestling TV title
I think
from
we've gone on
Tanahashi.
I think we've gone long enough.
You don't want to talk about
I think we've
how
gone
Okada
long
is
enough.
leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling and how that's devastating to the company. How Tama Tonga is leaving and how that's devastating to the company. You don't want to talk about none of that stuff.
We've got there's a lot of movings happening outside of WWE and AEW, and it's an exciting time for wrestling fans. And
You
shout
want
out
to
to
talk
all
about
these
Will
wrestlers
Ospreay's
that
farewell match where he killed it
no,
and he had a nice little promo.
no,
You don't want to talk about.
no, because we already discussed this prior to the show that we're not gonna get into the nitty gritty. We're just gonna we're back introduction, and as the following weeks will come, we will get more in depth. But this is we're talking about the main
You don't want to
things.
talk about how Hangman is on a
I'm
hinge
gonna
right
go.
now with
I'm done, and
Swerve.
that's the mixed tag show. Thank you for
Like how he's
watching.
going off the rails with Swerve. They're about to do a double turn, and how Swerve about to win this title. You don't want to talk
We
about none
didn't
of this
even
stuff.
mention we didn't even mention this in right before we came on. Now what like
All right, let's get to our goal. Let's get to our goal. I mean, a lot happened since we left. I just want to say that.
I understand, but we clearly with the technical difficulties and we've gone on very long. Let's get we're back. Hey, little
I
introduction,
just
and
want
then
to
we
touch on
will
some
get.
things other than WWE for a little bit. That's all.
But we're in AEW right now. We getting ready to talk AEW.
Oh yeah, because who's AEW now?
Anyway, we're gonna talk about our goat. See, this is exactly see. You see what happened? All that talking. I knew what the fuck what I was talking about. All that talking, and this is what happens.
All right. Let's talk about our
It,
goat.
okay. So about our goat, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I never said Blue was right or wrong, but I'm gonna because he's so pressed for acknowledgement. You know,
Yes.
he thinks he's Roman Reigns, but I'm going to give him his flowers because he was right about
Thank you.
Mercedes heading to AEW. I never said she wasn't. I told you what I wanted.
And I told
And
you,
I
is it
still and
happening?
then to this day, I still want her in WWE because it's just things are cooking there. But with that said, that's not what she decided. And ultimately, she decided what was best for her, and she will. All signs will go. It looks like Mercedes Monet will be at
It's all elite.
Big Business AEW Dynamite March 13th at the TD Garden.
What makes you think
Um,
that?
what makes me think that because a couple of weeks prior to this episode, Tony Khan was out here, talking his shit and said that Big Business will be in Boston at the TD Garden, and there was a slight little nugget. What was the nugget? Boston, not Boston, but Boston,
Very,
Boston.
very subtle.
Very subtle, very very subtle. So with that said, everyone is assuming. that Mercedes, formerly known as Sasha Banks, will
And it's the
be
first time
at
they're doing TD Garden
AEW.
too, I think.
Huh?
It's the first time they're doing TD Garden too.
Yes, and I was looking at ticket sales, and they're not necessary. I'm like, God, here we go. This, like, girl, you used to the ticket sales being in the 10 and 20 thousands and stuff, and 100,000. That's what we used to. But anyway,
I didn't know
this
the day of the event, everybody's gonna buy their tickets. They're
Boosie.
stalling out these
The tickets are
secondhand.
cheap, so ain't no stalling. Is right now, like it's. I think the amount of tickets that was sold that I've read for this event was like about 8,000 tickets. I
But
can't
the
remember
TD
the
Garden
exact.
doesn't even hold. TD Garden holds 10,000, so it's almost a sellout.
No, TD
Let
Garden
me
holds a
see.
little bit more. Double check right now. TD Garden holds a little bit more than 10,000, if I remember correctly. So yeah, so as you're checking, looking that up, but yeah, with all that said, again, you mentioned this right before the new year that we wanted whatever was best for her. And I guess she felt this was best. Whatever the deal that she signed, she felt that was key in regards to her career, and all we can do is support it. But like I said, I like I just saw, what was it, this past book, Dynamite or so, Ruby Soho, and then like this storyline, and I'm just like, this is what we doing with the women's division still. It's just, again, I still don't have hope for this women's division, but
Well,
someone
what
like
you mean? Hold on,
Mercedes
Tom.
is.
What you just say? Between what Tony Storm?
You're breaking up a little. I said Ruby Soho.
Oh, Ruby So. She's not in the title picture. The title picture
I
is
didn't say
between.
she was, I didn't say she was in the title picture. Were you listening to me? We have a podcast. Were you listening to me? I said this.
The I was looking
I
at the
was looking
seats.
up
Tell me to
this.
look at
I
the
said the
seats.
storyline issues, and she's just like on a date. I forget who she was on a date with. I'm like, this is what we doing.
Yeah, she's doing. That's a different storyline though.
Listen to what I said. I said nothing about Tony Storm. I said nothing about any. I
Okay,
said this is what they're doing with the women's division. I don't have any faith in this women's division. I'm still
but that's
standing.
not the. Go ahead,
That's
finish.
not the
Finish it.
what. Go ahead, Blue. Go ahead, tell me. Well, that's not the what. That's not the what. Tell
That's
me.
not the only storyline that's going on. That's not the only
I didn't
storyline that's going
say
on right
that
now.
it
They have,
wasn't the. I didn't
but that's not
say
the way.
it
But you're
was.
basing, you're basing the division off of a storyline that they wanted to do. That's what they're choosing to do. The
I
women's storyline, the
understand,
women division
but
has been amazing these past couple of weeks and months. They have grown so much. They've been given more TV time. They've been given more women are signing on to build the statue of the division. So to take that storyline
you're saying
as
you're
representation,
signing. They're signing. Okay, you're signing. Okay, you're signing more women, but yeah, it's I nothing about it is entertaining to me. This with the women's division, is this something that's has been an issue for however long? So the same way you have your opinion in regards to, oh, you don't like entertainment and dialogue between, for WWE. I don't like how the women's division is booked in AEW. With that said, though, as I was giving Mercedes her flowers, Mercedes is a trailblazer, and if there's one person that's going to be really that's going to put light to a division, it's going to be Mercedes, right? She has the opportunity to be the someone who's main evented in multiple promotions as a woman, WWE, New Japan, and now AEW. So, no pun intended. The sky's the limit when it comes to her. And again, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna view it with open eyes and hope for the best. But don't care for their division. I don't.
what else do you see in the division outside of the stuff that Ruby Soho's doing? What else did you see?
I've seen Tony continued her storyline in regards with the time and stuff. That's cute. What's her name when she came out not too long ago? I don't want to. I don't want to
Deanna
say
Perrazzo.
she that was she cute, but it doesn't do anything for me.
So Deanna Perrazzo and Tony Storm storyline has been amazing. Now Dynamite has been featuring more than one women storyline on their show.
Per
They've
usual, per
been
usual. What did you say? Outside of Dynamite, per usual.
No, I'm saying on Dynamite, they're featuring more than one storyline on their show on Dynamite. Dynamite had two women matches this past week.
Okay.
The women's division has been very prominent on both Rampage and Collision still.
Okay.
They're signing more names to build the division. Like Queen Amineta
I
is
saw she
amazing,
just I saw she just signed a couple of weeks ago, and
and she's been featured on
I
all
even
three shows.
I even commented and said finally. I said that. I saw that.
Yeah, so she's been on all three shows. The storyline with what's this- Mariah May and Tony Storm is on the backside of that. That's gonna be
Hmm.
amazing. I just feel like they're giving them more. Julia Hart has been out for a little bit, which is their TBS champion. So when she
Hmm.
returns, it's gonna be added on for that. Chris
Okay.
Statlander, Nightingale have their storyline going on as well. That's been something to look at with uh Stokely. That's what I'm saying. So there's multiple storylines that are being built up now, as opposed to in the past where it's just like one or two and everybody else is chilling. Like we've seen people getting matches on Collision, on Rampage, on Dynamite that don't usually get matches. So they're building a
Okay.
women's division.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen overnight.
Okay. So and then with that said, like I said, outside of what you're saying, you're schooling me on multiple things, is that I don't watch Rampage or Collision. Um, someone like
You should.
Mercedes
They're pretty good.
should watch WWE. Um, with Mercedes, like I said, she's someone that is a trailblazer and is only
Yeah,
going
she's gonna
to
come in
bring
and do her thing.
and do her thing. So if this is everything that's happening, outside of Dynamite and what have you, there's only room for improvement specifically when it comes to someone like her. So of course, in that sense, she's my goat. She's your goat. I'm gonna tune in and support.
And Jim
So
Cornette, you're wrong. Jim Cornette, you're wrong. Thinking that she's gonna come in for a couple of weeks. It's gonna make a
Jim
big difference.
Cornette,
No, no,
what?
no. This is different. Is either Jim Cornette or some other dumb, wrestling
You
commentator
told me
that does
I was
podcasts.
wrong. You told me I was wrong about Jim Cornette.
No, no, no. I was talking directly to Jim Cornette and those other
Oh,
ones that's
okay.
doubting that Mercedes numbers is not going to affect AEW. You're wrong.
Anyone
Like this
see?
woman had that built up the numbers for New Japan and one showing. Like you know what I mean?
I,
Like what people woke up to watch that. So you don't think they're gonna tune into her weekly
I
during
just
the
I'm
nighttime while they're eating dinner?
I'm just confused as to why people still underestimate Mercedes star power. Again,
I don't get it.
I don't know if it's I don't want to keep holding on because it's a race thing, but the proof is in the pudding.
Sexism,
Every time she's involved in something, that people are tuned in. Why would again, even Tony Khan, like a couple weeks ago, you're hyping this up. There's a reason why this is hyped up. When they had All Out
right?
last year, how people went nuts. And need I remind people, the crew is very much out there. The crew is like the beehive. They are very much in swarms, are going to support Mercedes. It looked like
That's what I'm about the TV
it's
shows.
a big thing in regards to her showing out, about them coming out to Boston. I'm still contemplating on
See,
going out to Boston. Um, so I don't why is it that we can't give this woman her flowers? I don't understand. It's
they hate
because
it.
it's she's so they is it because she knew her worth. So
Yeah.
she always had to vocalize that and had to put up a fight. Do we really hate that women have have a say in stuff and open their mouths and
Power.
know, like, and exactly, like, why is it that it's so hated that someone knows their worth? Let's This is she time and time again. She's proven her what she's capable of, her power, her talent. In 2024, we still really doubting Mercedes. Like, are we really doing that?
I don't get it.
I don't get it, man. But that's our show, right?
That's it. Let's end this here.
Yeah,
Thank you for tuning in
yes, we're back. Hopefully,
again.
we're back again. Hopefully, this is the consistency moving forward. But thank you for the support. Go ahead and make sure you follow us at our Instagram,
How to
Twitter,
change these buttons?
Real. It's fine. We're back. We're baby steps. But follow us
Yeah.
at the Mixed Tag Show on TikTok. We're at the Mixed Tag Show underscore.
Underscore. Yep.
Yep, and then follow us at our personals at Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE and
Blue Magic Grind, spelled how it sound.
peace.
Boom.